It is our tradition to appreciate. God says one who does not show gratitude to man does not show gratitude to God. Therefore, I want to let our guests know the silence, the quiet of this audience is not a sign they don't appreciate what they have just listened to. The recitation, the poem, and this keynote speech. We express it by showing thanks and praising God Almighty rather than clapping our hands. So please don't feel because you come to the stage now and no one's clapping that they didn't appreciate what you said. With that in mind, I would like to recall our National Public Affairs Secretary to come and introduce to us some of our distinguished guests, and then also to present the Ahmadiyya Muslim Humanitarian Award for this year. Amjad Mahmood Khan Sahib, please, to introduce these guests.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful. Honored guests and delegates of this, the 75th Jalsa Salana USA, Assalamu Alaikum. This is the Islamic greeting of peace and blessings of God. On behalf of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA, welcome to the 75th Diamond Anniversary Jalsa Salana, the nation's oldest and longest running American Muslim convention. The first Jalsa took place in Dayton, Ohio in 1948. It is now my honor to introduce several special guests, dignitaries, public officials, and friends of our community. And our first speaker is the Honorable Mayor Danny AVULA. Dr. Danny AVULA assumed office as Richmond's 81st mayor on January 1st of this year, becoming the city's first immigrant and Asian mayor. A pediatrician and former public health leader, he served for over a decade directing Richmond and Enrico health districts and later led Virginia's COVID-19 vaccination campaign. He champions inclusive public health, community safety, and addressing socioeconomic health disparities. Born in Hyderabad, India, he holds degrees from VCU and Johns Hopkins. And before I invite him to share his remarks, a few days ago, in partnership with the city of Richmond, our Jamaat, our community, continued our Jalsa Cares community outreach initiative. Through this initiative, our community worked on 3 public service projects identified by the city. We helped clean a cemetery in Evergreen, post-Civil War era Black cemetery, a very moving experience. We cleaned trash on the river near Wharf Street, and we also partnered with the American Red Cross and RVA Community Fridges to donate food, and in conjunction with the Richmond Fire Department to give fire safety awareness to many homes in Richmond. Just a few days ago, we were joined by over 60 volunteers of Jalsa Cares. We're grateful to the Mayor AVULA, for his enthusiastic support of Jalsa Cares and these initiatives, and we're honored to have him share his remarks.
Thank you, Brother Amjad, and assalamu alaikum, friends. Congratulations on being able to hold your 75th Jalsa Salana. I am particularly happy that that is happening here in this amazing city of Richmond, Virginia. Welcome. I hope that as you've chosen to be here for this gathering, that you have felt the sense of openness and welcome that our city is known for. And I hope that that continues to be the case as you come back year after year. Thousands of Ahmadi Muslims from all over America have convened this weekend in Richmond with a single united aim: to live by your profound motto, hanging boldly in the back of the room here, love for all, hatred for none. These are incredibly powerful words to live by, and I have seen those words translated into action here in Richmond. Last year when you first came, and now this year, you've tripled your community engagement in that short period of time, working with our city to clean up, to restore cemeteries, and to steward this earth that we have been called to care for. So thank you for that. It's a beautiful statement of how this faith community shows up. You don't just come to our city to convene as a meeting, but you come to our city to serve its people. And I am incredibly grateful for that. I also know that you don't just do this work in the communities that you visit, but that you are doing this work all over the world. You provide disaster relief and medical missions, free healthcare services throughout the globe through your charitable arm, Humanity First. And so thank you for the way that you live out your faith and lead with compassion and grace. May God bless you in that work. I also want to acknowledge your deep and abiding commitment to peace, religious tolerance, and inclusivity, principles that we espouse deeply here in the city of Richmond. Your community's global leader, His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, is one of the leading Muslim voices for peace, and I hope that the leaders of throughout the globe will embrace that message. The principles upon which your founder, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, founded this movement on unite humanity, end religious wars, and restore morality, justice, and peace. These are principles that we must all get behind for the good of our world. In honor of your coming to Richmond, we have codified this in a City of Richmond proclamation. And so I want to just read it briefly. It's short, but it's honor to you all for choosing this city to hold this great celebration. Whereas the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, founded in 1889 by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and presently led by his fifth successor, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, is a global Islamic revivalist movement dedicated to the promotion of peace, justice, interfaith harmony, and service to humanity. And whereas the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA, established in 1920, has been an integral part of American society, contributing to civic engagement, humanitarian aid, and efforts to foster religious freedom and understanding. And whereas the annual Jalsa Salana, first initiated in 1891 by the community's founder, has been a significant gathering for spiritual reflection, knowledge sharing, and unity, with Jalsa Salana USA being held annually since 1948, growing into a national tradition, one that I hope that Richmond's Jalsa Cares event can be one of the flagship events throughout the world. Whereas the 75th Jalsa Salana USA, to be held from July 4th to 6th at the Richmond Convention Center, marks a historic milestone, celebrating 75 years of commitment to peace, education, and public service, as well as the principles of love for all, hatred for none. And whereas the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA continues to exemplify values of compassion, volunteerism, and civic responsibility through initiatives such as Jalsa Cares, which provides support to underserved communities across America. Now, therefore, I, Danny AVULA, Mayor of Richmond, Virginia, do hereby recognize and commend the 75th Annual Jalsa Salana USA, celebrating the legacy of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in their unity, faith, and service to humanity.
Thank you very much for the proclamation and for your stirring words, Mayor AVULA, and your partnership with us to serve this city. Our next speaker is the Honorable Ghazala Hashmi. Ghazala Hashmi is a member of the Virginia State Senate from the 15th District and is the first Muslim and first South Asian American to serve in the Virginia Senate. The 15th district includes portions of Chesterfield County and the city of Richmond. An educator by training, she has a PhD in English. Her legislative focus includes public education, voting rights, gun safety, housing affordability, and democratic governance. She currently serves as a Democratic caucus treasurer and recently secured the Democratic nomination for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Dr. Hashmi.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. I'm so delighted to be back with you at this year's Jalsa Salana. I had the privilege of joining you last year, and it left a lasting impression on me, one of the unique spirituality, community service, and love of humanity. Today marks a special occasion, as we know, the 75th diamond anniversary of the Jalsa Salana here in the United States, and what an incredible milestone. You know, this gathering is not only America's longest and oldest Muslim convention, it is in fact a reflection of the strength, the endurance, and the devotion of the Ahmadiyya community over generations. So I congratulate the 10,000 attendees who have come from across the country to be a part of this very important celebration. Your presence here today is a powerful reminder of the diversity that makes our nation so unique and so strong. I also extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Mirza Maghfur Ahmed. Thank you for your leadership as the national president. Your guidance continues to uplift so many and ensures that this community remains a beacon of peace and of service. And as a member of the Virginia Senate who represents Richmond, I am so especially delighted that Richmond is your host city. We are so honored that you have gathered here in a city whose very streets resonate with the complex and compelling story that is America. Richmond was once the capital of the Confederacy, a place deeply connected to our nation's struggles with slavery, civil war, and injustice. And yet, Richmond is a city of resilience, transformation, and healing, a place where diverse communities now come together to build a more just and inclusive future. Here in Virginia, we are proud to be home of so many Ahmadiyya mosques and thousands of community members. And in fact, many of you here today are not just our constituents, but you are, in fact, our neighbors, our friends, and fellow Virginians. Your presence in this state enriches the culture and the civic life of our communities. Thank you also for the Jalsa Cares initiative. What a remarkable expression of faith in action. And as we just heard, this year's Day of Service brought together hundreds of volunteers working across Virginia, from cemetery cleanups and trash pickup to food distribution and fire safety education. You partnered with the City of Richmond, the American Red Cross, the Richmond Fire Department, and RVA Community Fridges. You have shown us all what it truly means to care for our neighbors. You didn't just prepare for Jalsa, you prepared your hearts and hands for service, and that to me is the essence of civic engagement and life. What a better time to celebrate this work than over the 4th of July weekend, to see a vibrant Muslim community gathered in celebration of faith and unity and nationhood. This is the American story. Your dedication to country and community serve as a model for what civic responsibility and inclusive patriotism ought to be. The motto of the Ahmadiyya community, love for all, hatred for none, resonates more deeply now than ever before. It's truly a message that our world needs. It's rooted in compassion, peace, respect for difference, and it's not just a phrase, it is a way of life. And that message is championed by His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who has long been a voice for global peace and understanding. In a world that is too often divided by conflict and fear, his leadership stands as a moral compass guiding us towards healing and unity. And so today it is my honor to present to you the certificate of recognition from the Virginia State Senate honoring the 75th anniversary of the Jalsa Salana. Thank you again for welcoming me today and for allowing me to share in this incredible celebration. May your next 75 years continue to inspire hope and service and peace, not just here in the United States, but around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Hashmi, for those words and for that honor. Our next speaker is the Honorable Kannan Srinivasan. Kannan Srinivasan is a member of the Virginia State Senate from the 32nd District and the first Indian American immigrant elected to Virginia's General Assembly. He initially represented House District 26 before winning the Senate seat earlier this year. And the 32nd District encompasses parts of eastern Loudoun County, which lies in the northern suburbs of Washington, D.C. As a legislator, he has passed bipartisan legislation expanding youth mental health access, renter protections, firearm safety tax credits, and improving court efficiency. Senator Srinivasan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you for that kind introduction. And thank you for the organizers for this wonderful convention. Thank you for hosting it in Richmond, right here in Virginia. It's an honor to join you for my very first Jalsa Salana, and especially for this historic 75th Diamond Jubilee celebration. It's truly a privilege to be invited for such a momentous occasion. Last General Assembly session, when I was in the House of Delegates, I was moved by a prayer offered by your Imam for our opening convocation prayer in the House of Delegates. And I met several of your community members in the House of Delegates. It is just as moving to see so many of you here, around 10,000 Ahmadiyya Muslim community members right here in Richmond from all over the country, gathered here this weekend of July 4th to spend this holiday weekend united in faith right here in the Commonwealth, and also show your patriotism and service. Your membership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia is strong, with 3 chapters across the state and thousands of families, many of whom live in my district up in Northern Virginia, and are active members of the Northern Virginia chapter in Chantilly. And thank you for all you do, and you all went above and beyond this week to contribute to the day of service, Jalsa Cares, right here in Richmond. I know it took a lot of coordination, time and heart, but your volunteer efforts, working with the Richmond community, RVA Community Fridges, Richmond Fire, and the American Red Cross are truly making a real difference in this community. Love for all, hatred for one is such an amazing, beautiful message. The values of love, compassion, and understanding transcends all of us. I am very grateful for your community's involvement and the amazing service that you do to so many of our communities across this amazing nation and across the globe. Your community is an example that love truly has the power to bridge any divide. So thank you again for including me in this special weekend, and congratulations on 75 incredible years. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Senator Srinivasan. We really appreciate those words. Our next speaker is the Honorable Saddam Salim. Saddam Salim is a member of the Virginia Senate from the 37th District. He was born in Bangladesh, and he obtained his master's degree in public administration at George Mason University. He was elected to the Senate in 2023 and represents Northern Virginia, which includes Fairfax County and Falls Church, where he resides. Senator Saddam Salim.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the invitation, inviting me to join you at this year's 75th Jalsa Salana, USA. It's an honor to be here with so many members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. To see over 10,000 individuals gathered this weekend speaks volume about the community and their commitment. Since the first Jalsa Salana in Ohio in 1948, this annual convention has served as a space for reflection, dialogue, and strengthening community bonds. The tradition of coming together in service of shared value continues to inspire. During your time here today, I have been struck by the remarkable volunteer spirit that defines this event. From logistic support to hospitality and even through broader community outreach efforts, it's clear that service is deeply held among valued in this community. Through the Jalsa Care Initiative, your volunteers have contributed meaningfully to the Richmond community. Your actions speak to a sincere commitment to giving back and making a positive difference. The community's motto, love for all, hatred for none, reflects values that resonate across many cultures and faith traditions. I have seen these values put into practice through the work of the Northern Virginia chapter and through engagement with communities across our region. I also want to recognize the global leadership of your community and its consistent advocacy for peace and humanitarian efforts. Promoting dialogue, mutual understanding, and conflict resolution is essential, especially in challenging times, and your efforts contribute meaningfully to the globe. Thank you again for the invitation to be part of this milestone. I wish you a successful and enriched Jalsa Salana and continued strength in your mission of service and unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Salim. We really appreciate all of your support in Northern Virginia and beyond. Our next speaker is the Honorable Schuyler Van Valkenburg. Senator Van Valkenburg is a history and U.S. government teacher and father who transitioned from the House of Delegates into a senator representing District 16, which is parts of Henrico County, starting in 2024. He's a very dedicated educator turned policymaker. He emphasizes education reform and civic engagement. Senator Van Valkenburg.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Richmond. Congratulations on your 75th Jalsa Salana, which is just truly an amazing accomplishment, especially knowing all the volunteerism and all the hard work that goes into these events. And thank you for living your values and going out into my community and engaging in service while you're here. I hope your 76th, your 77th, your 78th, and so on Jalsa Salanas are here. And I'll know to blame Mayor AVULA if they're not. But I'm going to go off a little bit my script from what I had written because of a couple things that I've heard here today. You know, I'm a government teacher, and it was just the 4th of July, and I actually think it's really amazing that we're congregating here the day after. And as I was walking back, and as I was being shepherded to where I was supposed to go, I met my newest acquaintance, and maybe I would even say friend Salim, who told me his amazing story of going from Pakistan to Germany to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, where he lives now, and now into service in this community. And as he told the story, he started welling up, and I started getting emotional because it's a truly American story. And so as Mr. Naeem was talking, his remarks said, what the Ahmadiyya offers America And I think for the rest of us, it's what does America offer the Ahmadiyya? And I think what it offers is your slogan, love for all, hatred for none. A place where all of us can thrive for who we are, and out of thriving who we are, be able to give a giving hand, to be able to be our true selves, to be able to love our loved ones and to be in our community. And I think in a time where there's a lot of reasons to be pessimistic, there's a lot of reasons to be sad, there's a lot of things that don't make sense happening, I think being here today, hearing that story, and talking about a giving hand is the hope. It is the American story. It is why we are great together. And I think to end, I can't think of a better place for you all to be than a mile away from where the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom was passed. A law that became the foundation for America's freedom of religion, a law that ensures that all of us can be full citizens and can be ourselves. And so it has been such an honor to be here with you. It has been such an honor to share some time with you. I hope you enjoy your rest of your time here, and I can't wait to see you back here next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Van Valkenburg. We really appreciate that. We look forward to returning to Richmond. Our next speaker is the Honorable Joshua Cole. He's a member of the Virginia House of Delegates representing the 65th District since 2023, which includes the historic city of Fredericksburg and stretches to the King George and Stafford County line. We welcome him back to Jalsa Salana and invite him to share his remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings be upon you all. It is truly a blessing and an honor to be here tonight, again for my second Jalsa. And I think it's also duly a privilege as not just an elected official, but as a Christian priest, to bring you greetings and warm wishes to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community on the occasion of your 75th annual Jalsa Salana. As someone rooted in faith and guided by a call to serve, I recognize the deep spiritual significance of this gathering. The Jalsa Salana is more than a meeting. It is a sacred space for reflection, renewal, and recommitment to the values that bind us together across faith traditions: peace, humility, justice, and love for humanity. The Holy Quran reminds us, "O mankind, we have created you from male and female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Surely the most honorable among you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous among you." This verse echoes what I believe to be at the heart of faith: the call to one another, to honor one another, and to build bridges, not walls. In my work as a legislator and as a pastor, I've seen firsthand the light of your community, and it shines through all of your tireless commitment to work, service, charity, and peaceful engagement. You remind us all that faith is not just what we say, but how we live and how we operate, and that the righteous living can transform entire communities. I'm also reminded that a couple years ago, when various different people were coming to America, they would come through Ellis Island. And as they would come through Ellis Island, they would see the Statue of Liberty. And on the Statue of Liberty, there was a phrase that would utter, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." Not only is America home to me, but America is your home as well. And regardless of what crazy people say, you belong here. Regardless of how people treat you, this is your home. And we will continue to partner together. We will continue to love each other. And we will continue to show love for all and hatred for none. And as you come here again on this 75th annual Jalsa Salana, I'm excited, just as Senator Ghazala Hashmi presented a commendation, that I present to you a commendation from the House of Delegates honoring the 75th Diamond Anniversary. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Delegate Joshua Cole. We appreciate that, the proclamation. and your moving words, and we welcome you back in future Jalsas as well. Ahmadi Muslims are deeply committed to the promotion of peace, freedom, loyalty to country, and service to humanity. In 2011, our community established an annual Ahmadiyya Muslim Humanitarian Award to recognize the services and contributions of individuals who selflessly strive to assist oppressed and disadvantaged communities around the world. By being an advocate for these communities, these individuals protect and safeguard universal human rights. This year, we're delighted to honor the work of United States Senator Chris Van Hollen. U.S. Senator Van Hollen is a member of the United States Senate since 2016, representing Maryland. He previously served as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives in 2002, where he served in Maryland's 8th District. He is a member of the Appropriations Committee. Senator Van Hollen has been a principled advocate for human rights, the rule of law, and justice for all communities. We've all seen that over the past several months. He has spent his entire congressional career defending the rights of the oppressed and vulnerable, and his work championing global peace is widely known. We honor Senator Van Hollen this year with the 2025 Ahmadiyya Muslim Humanitarian Award. And last week, we presented the award to him in his office at U.S. Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. And though he cannot be here today in Richmond, he has recorded a special message, and I ask our MTA team to play it now.
Hi, I'm Chris Van Hollen, and I represent the great state of Maryland in the United States Senate. While I'm sorry I can't join you in person, I'm very honored to accept your 2025 Ahmadiyya Muslim Humanitarian Award.
On behalf of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA, I'm honored to present you with the Humanitarian Award for this year. This is for your courage and your principled stand on the rights of all people in the world, not just the Ahmadiyya Muslim community that's persecuted in Pakistan, but of all people.
I'm especially humbled to accept this award on the 75th anniversary of the Jalsa Salana, America's oldest Muslim convention. Since 1948, this event has strengthened the ties that bind America's Ahmadi community, a community that contributes to our country in every field of endeavor. Your motto, love for all, hatred for none, is more important than ever as we seek to bring people together in these divided times. Over the years, I've had the chance to get to know your community, including joining Iftar and speaking at your mosque in Baltimore. And I deeply appreciate your call for peace, for human rights, for humanitarianism, and for social justice. I know that members of your community face persecution and religious violence, including the recent killings of Ahmadi Muslims in Pakistan. I have raised this issue before, and I want you to know that I will always fight to protect the religious freedom and the fundamental human rights of your people and everyone and anyone who faces persecution for who they are or what they believe. I also want to thank you for your shared commitment to ending the humanitarian disaster and war in Gaza and to freeing all the hostages at a time that is too often dominated by the loudest, angriest voices. Members of your community have broken through the noise as a voice for peace, especially through your global Voices for Peace campaign and the life-saving work done by Humanity First USA. Together, we can build a better future for everyone in the Middle East. We must work to achieve peace, dignity, and self-determination for all people. So while I thank you for this recognition of my work, I want to thank you for advancing your important mission. Our efforts to build a more perfect union, both in America and around the world, is never complete, but I know that you will never give up. Neither will I. And as we work together to build a more peaceful, and more just world, we should all embrace the beautiful words and wisdom of your founder, who told us you should never, ever restrict your circle of kindness. These times call for us to remember those words, and more importantly, to live by them. Thank you, take care, and Jalsa Mubarak.
We thank Senator Van Hollen and in supporting our community, particularly our persecuted brothers and sisters in Pakistan. And our next speaker, Dr. Scott Weiner, serves as Supervisory Policy Analyst and Policy Director at the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. He's a lecturer in political science at George Washington University, where he completed his PhD. He is the author of Kinship, Governance, and State Formation in the Arab Gulf States, and his research centers on identity politics, fighting anti-Muslim discrimination, and also in state formation in the Middle East. USURF, as many of you know, does life-saving work and has reported about the atrocities that Ahmadi Muslims endure in many countries of the world. We're delighted to have Dr. Scott Weiner here with us.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you here at this year's Jalsa Salana. Congratulations on reaching this significant 75-year milestone, and thank you for inviting USURF to join you for this historic gathering. USURF is an independent, bipartisan U.S. federal government body based in the legislative branch and created by Congress. Throughout the year, we monitor international religious freedom conditions and make specific policy recommendations to the President, Department of State, and Congress. Our 9 bipartisan commissioners reflect a range of political views, but are united in their mission to independently assess and unflinchingly confront threats to religious freedom abroad. As many of USURF's recent reports reflect, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community abroad faces systematic, ongoing, and often egregious threats to religious freedom. Our reporting extensively documents these threats in countries including Algeria, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Yemen, and of course, Pakistan. Across each of these countries, Ahmadis are actively denied the right to practice their faith, subject to communal violence, denied access to their places of worship, and convicted under blasphemy charges. Many countries prohibit Ahmadis from declaring their faith publicly, criminalize them for identifying as Muslim, and prohibit them from calling their houses of worship mosques. USURF's Frank R. Wolf Victims List documents many cases of Ahmadis currently serving prison sentences on charges related to unauthorized worship, distribution of religious materials, proselytization, and blasphemy. It is simply unconscionable for any human being to be treated this way for simply living the tenets of their faith. We remain particularly concerned by Pakistan's ongoing persecution of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community under the country's strict blasphemy laws and penal code. Increasing violence against the community during the first half of 2025 alone included attacks organized by members of Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan. USURF sends our condolences and sympathies to the families of the Ahmadiyya Muslims who have been killed, including Laik Chima, Muhammad Asif, and Dr. Sheikh Mohammed Mahmoud. We are also concerned that during Eid, dozens of Ahmadiyya Muslims were detained to prevent them from observing the holiday and participating in religious rituals with family, friends, and colleagues. USURF has issued policy recommendations for the US government to work with Pakistan to stop its mistreatment of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and to reform discriminatory laws. This includes entering into a binding agreement with the Pakistani government to encourage the repeal of these laws. Until such repeal, the US administration should continue to urge the Pakistani government to make blasphemy a bailable offense, require higher thresholds of evidence by accusers, ensure proper investigation, and allow authorities to dismiss unfounded accusations. Congress should allocate funding to protect houses of worship and support training programs that equip local officials and communities to better protect freedom of religion or belief. While the challenges may seem daunting, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is not alone. USERF will continue to advocate for members of religious communities, including Ahmadis, to teach, practice, worship, and observe according to the tenets of their faith. And we will never hesitate to call out governments that restrict religious freedom for Ahmadiyya Muslims and all religiously persecuted individuals. It is the responsibility and the duty of the United States government to elevate international religious freedom as a norm and practice. USERF will continue to fight for all human beings to enjoy these freedoms. Jalsa Mubarak.
Thank you, Dr. Weiner, and we really express our gratitude to the U.S. Commission for those condolences on the Ahmadi victims earlier this year, and for all the work that the U.S. Commission is doing and the U.S. government is doing to protect international religious freedom. Our final speaker this evening is Professor Heather Ferguson. Dr. Heather Ferguson is an associate professor of Ottoman and Middle Eastern history at Claremont McKenna College in Southern California, where she has taught since 2011. She holds a master's from UT Austin, a PhD from Berkeley, was previously a postdoctorate fellow at Stanford University with the Abbasi program in Islamic studies. Her academic work focuses on Ottoman administration, language, law, and archival practices. She is the author of the book published by Stanford University Press entitled The Proper Order of Things, Language, Power, and Law in Ottoman Administrative Discourses. We're delighted that Professor Ferguson has come all the way from California to be here for Jalsa Salana.
Assalamu alaikum. I am honored to be with you and in the presence of a community dedicated to compassion and openness in a world that seems to have turned away from both. I am also here with you today after returning from a brief research trip to Istanbul. As a historian of the Ottoman Empire, I have focused my scholarship and my teaching on a tradition of statecraft defined by the circle of justice, a commitment to equity and humanity that shaped every policy statement and every sultan's actions. I lead my students through these principles of governance as a way to push back on prejudice and stereotypes about the role of Islam in the world. Together, we trace the evolution of a system of faith and imperial order that seems very far away from the world we currently inhabit, one in which members of our community can be abducted off the street and defined as criminals or terrorists and told that they do not belong here due to the color of their skin, their birthplace, or because they dared to speak out against injustice. I also believe in the power of history to transform and revolutionize our perspectives on the world. What we learn in the classroom means nothing at all if that knowledge is not then taken with us out into the streets and into our communities. It is truly an honor to be present here with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, as this community has preserved a fierce commitment to compassion and service forged out of their own history of persecution and marginalization, as we've just heard. Together today, we stand in solidarity to a shared commitment to justice, to civic service, and to compassion for all, especially those most disenfranchised among us. The model of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has also been my guide during one of the most difficult 2.5 years of my career. Every time I step into the classroom, I feel an incredible responsibility to ensure that regardless of the topic for the day, together my students and I build a knowledge of Islam, the Ottoman Empire, and the Middle East that is also knowledge about our shared global histories. Our actions in the present shape future histories of either pain or joy, of discrimination or unity, of incarceration or freedom, of anger or compassion. Here today, I seek to honor the Ahmadi way, a way that is so reminiscent of the circle of justice that once guided Ottoman sultans. A way forward through the world that embraces dialogue, mercy, and hope through selfless acts of service and community building. The Ahmadi way faces disaster, ethnic cleansing, and genocide with humanitarian relief, dialogue, and peace. You offer a giving hand, not just to those in need, but also to a world that needs to be reminded that kindness and compassion for others must be a daily practice and not just an abstract commitment. As a scholar and a historian, I believe education is also our way forward in a world increasingly focused on an us versus them approach. This oppositional approach to the world is a narrowing, not just of our viewpoints, but also of our sense of who belongs and who does not. This approach also dehumanizes those perceived to be other than us. There is so much danger here. It leads not just to mass state and federal representatives abducting people from our streets, but also to machine gun armed drones and bombs obliterating Palestinians in Gaza and Sudanese. As a historian and an American like you, I am here today to thank each and every one of you for offering an alternative way, for offering that giving hand from within your own history of pain, and for modeling a commitment to forging an America that recognizes beauty in difference and refuses to be silent as our sisters and brothers scream. My students and I always read a poem each week. Today, I think of Palestinian-American poet Yahya Lababadi's recent collection that is titled Palestine Wail. It contains a short poem simply titled Hope. In it, he writes, "Hope's not quite as it seems. It's slimmer than you'd think and less steady on its feet. Sometimes it's out of breath, can hardly see ahead, and cries itself to sleep." Thank you for hearing the cry of others and for ensuring that the slim moments of hope can become oceans of compassion.
Jawad Ahmadiyya, USA! Jalsa Salana, USA!
We thank you, Professor Ferguson, for those very profound words. Here, finally, I wish to make some acknowledgments. As you know, our community, we have a history of receiving bipartisan support for our Jalsa from members of US Congress and other dignitaries and officials. This year was no different. We have received many videos, letters, proclamations from public officials across our over 60 chapters. We especially thank US Congress members Jim McGovern of Massachusetts, Jennifer McClellan of Virginia, Raja Krishnamurthy of Illinois, Sean Casten of Illinois, Kelly Morrison of Minnesota, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. All of their messages have been posted on our socials, particularly our USA Jalsa Twitter handle and our YouTube page, which you can access as well. To all of our guests, we very much thank you for coming today, and we invite you to stay for our hospitality suite and reception. It's in E11C. That's E11C, about a 7-minute walk. Immediately after the conclusion of the program, our team members are standing by to escort you, and I now turn this program back to our chair.
We have come to the conclusion of this session. And likewise, I would like to thank all of those special guests who have come here this evening to share their thoughts, their hopes, their dreams, their visions with us about a better world, a better America, a better union. Many decades ago, a man stood on the steps of our Capitol and echoing what we've heard again and again tonight, he said, "Ask not what America can do for you, but ask what can you do for America." These words are enshrined in history now, and we've seen that they're not just words from a president as he's about to be inaugurated into our land. These are, in a sense, the words of a prophet who appeared 14 centuries ago in the desert of Arabia. And he said, "The hand that is above is better than the hand that is below." Our job as servants of God of grace, a God of grace. Grace means God is gracious to every single living creature, every single human being. Doesn't discriminate, doesn't hold back because you're from the east or the west, north or south, any culture, any nationality, race or origin. God continues to rain his blessings and grace upon all of his creation and asks and needs nothing of us. So we are supposed to be servants of God's grace. And this is the spirit of going out in this world and helping and assisting and lifting others up, asking no recognition and no reward. So with this spirit today, let us all be grateful we're living today in this land that gives us this freedom of conscience to profess and act upon the greatest principles of our faith. We must be grateful, as I said, and this is truly a day to reflect on that gratitude. Separate the church and state, they said. Why? Because when Columbus came to America, there were Jews and Muslims on those boats, and they were being persecuted in Europe under the Inquisition. And when the Puritans and Protestants came from Europe, they were suffering because of the restrictions in England. America has always honored conscience of faith. Islam, again 14 centuries ago, spoke about conscience of faith for all, be they Muslim, Christian, Jewish, or of any other faith. We support it. So let's celebrate that this weekend as we're here in this nation celebrating all the freedoms we enjoy. And let us live to the best of our capacity to serve our nation all the days of our life. Again, I thank all of our speakers, all of our guests, all of those who have come to join us tonight. And please join us for the reception that will follow. May God bless us all. May God bless this nation. And may God keep us true servants of humanity. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. This session has now come to a close. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.